In JEET Kune, you always hear people talk about 5 ways of attack, but never about progressive weapon chart. But what's the difference? Basically, you can say 5 ways of attack is scientific classification of attacks that anybody can do, not strictly JEET Kune attacks. And progressive weapon chart is actually what techniques you would do in certain distances. It's basically in what distance, what technique you would need. For example, a straight lead is like at this distance. But if the opponent is inside of the straight lead, of course you can't use the straight lead anymore. In this occasion, you can use then the hook. Or if you go here with the front kick, you have the front kick here. If he is inside the front kick, right, then you can use the shovel. In the most distances, you can use different techniques. Like here, you can use the side kick. If the opponent is inside this distance, you can use the side kick here, but you can also use a lead punch here, okay? If it's slightly longer distance, then you can use the finger jab, right? And everything what is closer to here and closer to here, it can be left hook, it could also be a right hook. It depends, it could be also, that's the basic idea of the progressive weapon chart. It progresses based on the distance. If you look at the pad walk, so the longest distance is of course the side kick. So the side kick with stepping out, so that's the longest distance. So if the opponent is here, so he wants to attack me, he has to step in. That's a distance from a long side kick. Now, what's the progression? The progression is slightly closer. Now he doesn't have to step in. It's enough so he can shuffle with the rear leg and he can just do then the side kick, right? So the longest side kick is this one, okay? If the distance is closer, then it's that one. If I'm even closer, so then he can even do a static side kick, like here, right? So you're here, the guy is there, and you can do the side kick without of shuffling. But in this distance, a static side kick has the same distance like a front kick. Okay, so it depends. If me as opponent stands like this, he would attack the leg. If I'm like this, he can attack the groin, right? So the longest groin kick is like the side kick, it with stepping out. If it's slightly closer, it's enough for him to shuffle. And if it's even closer, right, he can do the static. When would he do the side kick? He would do the side kick if I'm like here. Okay, so the longest one, or the longest front kick, you could do also here and go with the front kick. So depends if the opponent is turned like this to you or is he turned like this to you. So you attack the targets that are easier to reach and you use the technique that fits that target. So then you have 3 side kicks or 3 front kicks and 3 distances, and therefore you have different footwork. So you can use the same technique on 3 different distances. You have here the straight lead. So everything inside the straight lead, right, would be a different technique. So inside the straight lead, slightly inside the straight lead, you can use the back fist, okay, or you can use the hook. But if you adjust with the footwork, you can even use the straight lead if the opponent is closer. So if the opponent comes to you, you can shuffle backwards, or you can use the hook. This depends what the opening is, right? If the opponent comes like this, then you would attack him rather in the front, okay, because he comes towards you and you want to stop in dead center. But if he comes like this, so then you would go, of course, around the obstacle. So you have here the lead punch, then you have the hook, and you have the back fist. Then you can incorporate the footwork. The hook can be here, it can be here, or it can be here. So then you have to adjust your footwork again here. The hook here, he can do static. And this one, he has to step backwards and do the hook. So you have static hook, you can lean back hook, okay? You can step back and do the hook. Another hook is long distance hook. If there's an obstacle, so you cannot go with a straight lead, all right? Straight lead is here. So you can't go with a straight lead. So you have to go around the obstacle. Now he can go around and basically use the same footwork like with the straight lead, but just using the hook. So imagine the guy is here, so you can't go through, okay? So you go here and punch with the hook here. So you punch in the jaw or you punch in the temple. Usually you would start with kicks because it's the longest distance, so the opponent has to come in, and he sees the opponent coming, you can immediately come with a side kick. So he steps in, and you go with a side kick, right? So you can give him this, and going here. And then you can make him miss, and then when he misses, he can come back with a side kick, so like here. Okay, go here with the side kick, you go, whoop, boom. You shouldn't wait too long. You should then attack the next target as quickly as possible. Imagine, go here, he goes back, and you follow up with the back fist, okay? And even if you would wait twice, you go like here, here. When he comes back, you can still use then, again, the kick. Instead of going here, and trying to block here, okay? You go here, and here, and you just switch your attacks to the different opening. We're gonna take another example, the back fist. So if he sees me early, boom, there's it. If he sees me too late, then he can go backwards, okay? So one is like here, other one is like here. And there's also a different one, similar like to the hook, where you can use the back fist and lead backwards. You can go like here and use the back fist like this. You have the same principles with the left side. So left straight or corkscrew, left hook, even left back fist. You have different distances for any technique. And once you cross a certain distance from one technique, it's better to use a different one. But this also always depends, where's the opening? Is the opening more on the side of the opponent? Is the opening more here, right? So then you would use here the straight punches, you would use here the hook punches, and on this side, you would use the back fists, okay? So guys, thanks for watching, see you next time.